Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sandy from Sandoodle's Desk, and today I'll be doing a review on my Plotter Mini 6 planner right here. It's been about a month where I've been using this planner pretty consistently, so I thought it was about time for me to share my thoughts, show you the wear, and also some thoughts on just Mini 6 versus standard pocket layout. So that's what I'm here to do today. To start off, I wanted to give a quick shout out to two channels that first introduced me to Plotter as a company. The first one is Job's Journal, and the second is Cecilia from Scientist Plans. Both of them have beautiful planner collections, and once I learned about Plotter, I thought that this is probably the system for me. For some background, Plotter was first started in 2017, so it's coming up on its 5-year anniversary, or I guess it is the 5-year. This is why they launched the Plotter USA website, which now allows us Canadians to have access to the stationery brand. This was out of Japan under the Design Fill label. They're also the same company that makes Midori, as well as, oops, as well as Traveler's Company. I'm a huge fan of Traveler's Company. I think it's the epitome of minimalist Japanese stationery. So when I heard that Plotter was the same kind of style or vibe, but now has rings, I knew I had to try Plotter. With the 5-year anniversary, there are some limited edition products coming out later this month that I'm trying to tell myself I do not need. But I am so very tempted by the beautiful olive green leather covers that they have. And I feel like if I've learned anything from Traveler's Company is that I should just buy the limited editions and then think about what I'm going to do with them a little bit later. So there might be a video coming out later this month if I'm able to get my hands on some of those limited edition products. But for now, let's talk about what I got last month. So the main thing is this cover here. This is the Liscio leather, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, in the color wine. This is one of the probably the most expensive leather that they have, but I really wanted this because it has the rose gold metal detailing, and with that there's the matching rose gold Krause rings. These are 11 millimeters. And the one that I have here is the mini 6 size, which is similar to kind of like the American standard pocket size. I'll share some differences towards the end of this video. Other things I got as part of my haul is this, oops, they call it a page lifter with pen loop. And then I got, sorry, I have sticky notes all over this, so you know it's been well loved. But this is the pen lifter with the elastic band. And then along with this, I got these two refills, the 5mm dot and the 2mm grid. So I want to start off with this cover here. So Plotter at the moment offers a few different sizes. There's this, that's the mini 6. There's the mini 5, which only has 5 rings. Then there's the narrow size, a Bible size, which is also similar to a personal, and then A5. So 5 different sizes, and there's also a few different leather options. I believe the other ones are Pueblo, which I think is more of a brushed leather feel, shrink leather, which is pebbled, and then I think there's a new one called like bridal or brittle, but that one is like a waxed one. Of the ones that I saw at the time of my purchase, Liscio was the one that appealed to me. There were a few different color options as well for all of the leather choices, but I thought wine was something that I didn't have in my collection yet, so I wanted to pick that up. In terms of sizing, it's about 140 millimeters by 100 millimeters and then 15 millimeters in terms of the depth. They say that these 11 millimeter rings holds about 80 sheets of their design fill paper, which would be kind of like one of the refill grid papers that they have here. I haven't really tested it, but I do find that it holds all of what I need, so at least that works out pretty well for me. I'll just share a quick flip through of my planner to give you a little bit of insight of how much I can keep in here. I put on a little credit card adhesive pocket here. I have a few dashboards that I've just pinned together with a magnetic pin. Even more decoration. I tried not to go too heavy with all of my decorative pages, but I can't help it, so here we are. For calendars, I only have kind of the rest of the year in here, so I don't keep too much in here. I have a 2023 calendar as well as some references. So mostly just swatches because I find that I'm often out and about and I don't know what markers or like Tombows I already own. My next section has my daily tasks. So this is one of my old weeklies, but I also circulate with daily pages, more weeklies and dailies, just whatever I need, kind of depending on the day. I've also used just their design fill grid paper here as one of my daily pages. I have a few of those here just when I don't want to print out any inserts. And my last section for jotting it down, this is just for any kind of like notes, like in the mail, a wish list, some notes for my Etsy shop, YouTube channel, shopping list, all of that jazz. Blank pages as well. And then in the pencil board, I usually have my go-to pen in here. I have some stickers. This is just blank sticker paper that I've punched down to a pocket size. And then lastly, sticky notes. A little Hobonichi ruler that I put sticky tabs on so I can keep it within my rings and not lose this. And in the back, I have one washi card, a little decorative bookmark, and another adhesive pocket. I have a ollie clip right here that sometimes I put in the front, but what I do is if I feel like I need extra note pages or any kind of change in my system, I will put a blank notebook just at the back of this. This is the Moleskine Kaye notebook, and this is actually almost like perfectly the size of the plotter notebook, maybe a tiny bit taller, but I don't know the exact dimensions of pocket inserts, but I do think that it's pretty close. Like I want to say this is 3.5 by 5.5, but don't quote me on that. And I think this is the same because the height here I think is the exact same at 5.5 inches. And then the width is just probably due to all of the pages that I have. But you can see it's still a fairly narrow and compact planner. It's helped me just to have this available in all of my purses and not having to worry about if I have to carry a large enough purse in order to bring my planner with me. And I have that option of carrying this notebook in and out if I want something slimmer. So I've really been a fan of just keeping kind of like rough notes and stuff separately. Just for some pros and cons, I feel like you can kind of take this either way. So I'll just list off some things and let you know what I personally think about them. But that slim compact ring I think is really the selling point, the 11 millimeters. Some people might find that it's not enough to put all of their pages, but for me it helped me kind of pare down my usual 20 millimeter rings into a smaller system, only carrying what I need. This has been thin enough that I can even slip it into like jacket pockets, which I've never been able to do with my other pocket planner. So to me, that's a huge plus, but you might want to just assess how much paper you generally need before making this purchase. I do think the leather is extremely high quality. It has the thickness of sort of your Traveler's Notebook from Traveler's Company, where the leather is aged super well and has collected a ton of character. I don't know if you can see all of the marks and love. I don't baby my planners at all, so I love seeing these characteristics on them. I also don't have the page like ring protector, so you do see a little bit of an indent, but I don't mind that at all. So to me, the characteristics of this leather is beautiful, and I can only speak of this like Liscio leather, and I don't know about if the other ones have the similar, I don't know, characteristics, similar plus. But the leather itself is super durable yet floppy. I think they've definitely worn down the leather well enough that without the band it still closes, and if I have it open it's perfectly laying flat, and I never have an issue of trying to force the leather down or needing to roll it out in order for it to lay the way that I want. If you're in the ring planner world, you'll also know that Krause rings are kind of considered the gold standard. It's what VDS or Giglio use, and it's generally what I like to look for when I am spending this much on a planner. They're easily replaceable. You'll find different retailers that sell them, specifically from Giglio and VDS, but I don't know if they actually sell this 11mm size, but this rose gold was definitely a unique color that I haven't seen sold anywhere else, and that's the main reason why I picked up this planner specifically. Plotter is one of the companies that I consider kind of your buy it for life minimalist kind of brand. This planner itself retailed in this size for this leather, it retailed for $145 US for just the cover. So it's just the leather and the rings. Nothing else came with it. And then I had to add on things for my own adhesive pockets. I had to add on the pen loop, the elastic closure. And with that all together, I do find it to be quite expensive because every add-on is say like 10 US too. So I find this to be on the pricey side, which I would also agree to be similar for Traveler's Company products, where they just give you a piece of leather, a string, and an insert. But I do think it is high quality. Would I recommend it for everyone? Maybe not. I do think it's a unique offering, but I recently purchased a similar planner from Wuzu Leather on Etsy that I hope will arrive in the next week or so that I can do a comparison video. But if that turns out to be a good alternative, I think there are, I guess, other options for 11mm rings. They're just sort of a new thing because a lot of planners I know tend to go for a chunky filled planner versus a slim and compact one. So this is, it's expensive, it's an investment, but I do think the quality is there and I don't think you'd be disappointed. But I do want to warn of all of the add-ons and all of the things that you really don't consider until you start setting up a planner. Speaking of add-ons, I wanted to do a quick demonstration of what pens fit in this pen loop. Actually, I'll take it out just for some ease. You'll see that the pen I have right now is the Pilot Kakuno, and it's a little bit tough. It's not the worst to get in and out, but this I would say is sort of your maximum in terms of what kind of pen thickness you're going to get to fit in here. This is probably more of a problem for my fountain pen users, and I swear I'm not like pushing super hard, and it's not actually that difficult when it's in the rings. So I'm sorry if I make it look kind of painful right now. It's not that bad. Let's remove some of those. I have here a selection of popular pens. So I'm just gonna show you if each of them fit and how they fit, starting with some gel pens. This is the Zebra Sarasa Grand really popular kind of metal pen. This fits super easily. You would have more than enough space here, no struggles at all. This is the Energel Klena, another popular one. This one has the grip, which is what I think does give it a little bit more difficulty sliding in and out of this. But it's still not a huge problem. I find this to be just fine, and maybe I stretched it a little bit with my fountain pens, but I've had troubles with this grip on other ones and it still fits perfectly fine in here. Popular starter fountain pens. This is a Lamy Safari. Also comes in a roller ball and a gel, I suppose, but once it gets to the cap, it's a little bit thick, but the body itself slides in with no problem, and I think I can get it if I push just a little bit harder. Yeah. So this does, I would say it fits. Not any worse than my Pilot pen, so I'll continue using it. This is a Pilot E95S, one of my go-tos for here. No problem at all. I can even slip the clip in, which has been very helpful. And here's one that is a little bit too thick to put in. This is the Kaweco Sport pen. This, I have a pen clip on it, and I think that's really the issue. But this one, I think I've worn it down enough that I can just bear. I don't want to make it look so difficult, but it's, I think it might be doable, but the length of it really isn't the best for this pen loop. It's almost exactly the same length, and I would find it hard to pull in and out. So this is the one pen which I might say wouldn't fit in here. Other than that, like, my Kakuno is not this bad. I think it's on video and it's nervous, so it's not like sliding in. But my Kakuno is usually fine, I swear. Like, look, it's okay, don't worry. Anyways, this has been one of my favorite add-ons, but also one that I don't think is super necessary if you don't like pen loops. And again, that's kind of the plus. You can add what you want. You don't need to put everything in here. But I also like the idea of having the placed pockets inside and a pen loop, or even this closure. I don't think you need the closure because it does lay flat, open and close on its own. So I don't think it's necessary, but it is a nice option to have. And I like the system where it's coming out at the top or the bottom if you flipped it around. Oops. But it does keep it closed, and I like the vertical placement of this, which I think is a little bit faster to flick open and closed compared to the Traveler's Notebook system, which I really can't do comfortably with like one hand. But the plus of this is that I can add charms on it, which is another kind of personalization aspect that I like of this system. Now to talk a little bit more about the inserts. Let me just find a page. Oh, on this. So this is what I would consider a standard pocket layout. And then if I just pulled a page from the grid, just want to show you the differences here. The design fill paper is a little bit more of a cream or off-white color versus here is my HP 32 pound bright white printer paper, which you can see it looks almost like blue next to this, and it might just be my lighting because it's starting to get a little bit dark, but they are two very different colors. For me personally, my eyes prefer a brighter white. I find that cream colors kind of mess with my eyesight sometimes, so that is something to consider if you are purchasing any of the plotter refills. The grid one I think is a very interesting 2mm grid. Let me see if I can show you quicker look, but they're very faint. I love the header at the top. The little diagonal is great for putting in a date, and I find 2mm a good size for me because my typical preferred grid size, like I have in this insert here, is a 3 or 4mm grid. 5 is more standard, but I do think it's just a little bit too big for me, especially in like a pocket size where I want to maximize all of my space. I'll use 2 grids in the 2mm, so I get about a 4mm grid, and that's how I work around this. In terms of sizing for the Mini 6, which is more of a standard Japanese sizing, you'll find that these are going to be a little bit skinnier and a little bit taller. This measures about 127mm by 80 versus your standard pocket or westernized sizing for pocket. This is 120mm versus 81. So about a millimeter wider and a millimeter shorter. I use the 2 of them interchangeably in my planner, and I don't find it to be a huge issue. This actually right here, for all of my personal inserts that I print and cut at home, once I punch the insert, I just trim the tiniest bit off on the inside, and that just helps when I'm flipping pages and they don't get caught on each other. But let me pull up a one page that I haven't cut yet. Okay, so this is an uncut page. This actually is probably truly 120 by 81 millimeters. If I just line it up like so, you'll see right here, you can see about the, did I say 1mm earlier? I want 1 centimeter. The 1 centimeter difference in height and the 1mm difference. This is so difficult to say. The 1mm difference in width. Like this, it is a little bit more stark in comparison, but you'll notice that the holes don't line up. If I take my slightly slimmed down page, line it up in terms of holes, you'll see that's about how much sticks out at the end, and then the height difference is not as noticeable because you have about 1/2 centimeter there and 1/2 here. So to me, in my planners, if I flip to maybe this back page, here I have the pocket page in front of the Mini 6. It really doesn't bother anything. I have a page marker. I'm still able to see other page markers easily, and I don't find it to be a huge deal, but that might be something to consider if you are mixing a Mini 6 and a pocket insert. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. But they're very slight differences that might bother some people and might make it a little bit more difficult to find one over the other depending on where you live. Overall, for me, it's easier to print my own inserts and buy them as a standard pocket, but I'll use these as my notes pages just because I have them already in my planner. Overall, I think this plotter system worked for me. I am a collector, so for me, I like to change my planners often. I like to do different systems. It brings me joy to set up different planners, so I don't regret this absolutely at all. Like I said, I did purchase the kind of dupe of this to see how it turns out, and I'll definitely do a review of a comparison once I have that. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this video. For any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments or reach out to me on Instagram, and I'll try my best to answer any of those. Hope you have a good day. Bye.